Because I've got about as much financial sense as a wooden spoon, I went ahead and bought a 3090. Today I'm going to do some real world testing in sims, comparing performance on the 2080 Ti with the 3090 using a HP Reverb G2. How it's going to work is I'll jump in sim, show you the settings I've got, and we'll see the performance I'm getting with the 2080 Ti. Put the 3090 in, keep the same settings, and just see how much I can move up the super sampling and to see where we can keep it at for 90 frames per second. So yeah, today it's going to be Automobilista 2 and Assetto Corsa, and I'll probably do a follow-up video with Dirt Rally 2 and Assetto Corsa Competizione, which I don't hold out much hope for. But yeah, so let's get cracking. Okay, first things first, let's just clarify my settings in Steam. So you can see my super sampling, my resolution per eye is on 40% here. There's been a lot of discussion whether you should have it 100%, 50%, closer to native. That's not the case. 100% is native. It shows as high due to barrel correction. I'm not going to go into all the ins and outs. Watch a great video by Karl Gosling on YouTube. They'll explain it all. But running at 50% is a good compromise. It still looks brilliant and you know, obviously a huge performance bump. Now I've had to lower it to 40%. I usually run at 50%. So the settings I've got in game run smooth at 50%. I've lowered it to 40 because of OBS. That seems to be the hit I take. I put it to 40 and it equates out to about the same as on 50 without OBS, if that makes sense. So that's something to bear in mind. So yeah, just take it as I'm running at 50% for performance. But yeah, that's how that's working. Okay, in AMS2, here's my version number for anyone who's interested. No actual super sampling set in game. Let's take a look at my performance settings. Top one is just for the desktop mirror. I don't actually think it impacts performance. I lower it anyway. Anisotropic filtering at 16 times always. MSAA at medium. You can see the rest is mainly high. Car detail ultra. Pit crew, I have none. Don't see it most of the time, and for me I don't want to waste potential FPS on pit crew. Shadow on medium, obviously that's a big impact as always. Medium still looks pretty good. Enhanced mirrors, yes, I think that adds to immersion. And detailed grass I have off. Don't really like it, and you need it on high, otherwise you can see it pop in. And on it looks like everywhere's just got long unkempt grass, so I actually prefer it off. And that's it really. Okay, so here we are at race start. You can see I've got the FPS VR running at the bottom, and just here at the menu we're about 90 frames per second. How this is going to work is I'm on a 20 car grid, starting at 13th, so I've got some cars in the mirror but the bulk ahead of me. Clear settings, clear sky, middle of the day. And of course you could say, well, it's going to be worse in rain and night time and so on, but I'm doing settings for most case scenarios. Most of the time you're racing in day in clear weather, most people are, and for the few times that it's anything other than that, I'll either take the hit or that's when you might change your settings. But this is how I mostly run. So let's get going. So here we are. This is an intensely graphical situation, being on the grid surrounded by cars and all your stadium and pit lane. I'm getting rammed behind me. So let's just keep an eye here. On these settings I've got, you expect to drop some frames or whatever here, being so bunched up with cars, but look, this is really smooth for me. Still in the high 80s, back up to 90 most of the time. I've got AI just something on really low because I'm not looking to race them. I want to just drive around, keep position, not worry about technique, etc. So look, sitting at 90 frames per second, and yes, it says Steam super sampling is 40%, but as I've explained, it performs exactly the same as this without OBS running for me at 50%. So just add on 10 and assume that's what I'm at, and it looks brilliant. It looks fantastic, honestly. This reverb, I'm so impressed by it. I love it. It's like playing new Sims all over again. And at times it can look photoreal. And maybe actually Assetto Corsa more than this. I think the saturation level in this makes it slightly more cartoony. I wish you could desaturate it. I don't think there is a way. That's why actually in overcast situations it does actually look more realistic. So yeah, keep an eye on this performance down here. We're sticking at a healthy 90 frames per second, reprojection 0.5%, drop frames 2, fantastic. Sorry, that was not a... Oh no, worked out pretty clean, that overtake. I haven't actually driven this BMW much, but it is pretty awesome. Okay, so that's a lap done. And I'm not going to keep going, we only need one lap done. We can see the performance there. So let's jump on and compare it to the 3090. Okay, so back in AMS2 with the 3090 in. One thing I want to point out, my 2080 Ti was overclocked, but only with the MSI Afterburner overscanner, because why wouldn't you? It's one click. Yeah, if you spent a lot more time doing it yourself, you could probably get a better overclock, but I literally just ran the scan, that was it. And with the 3090, Afterburner overclock doesn't work at the moment, but Nvidia have got their own. You just go into the overlay in the beta in performance and it does it itself, so why wouldn't you do that? It wasn't a massive improvement, but yeah, add a little something. It's free and it's, you know, basically a one click, so just to, you know, be transparent on that. Right, so here we are. As you can see, I've got FPS VR running again. Look down there, you can see Steam VR super sampling is 63%. It's actually set 64 in Steam VR, but it is only in even numbers, but here it says 63. Bear in mind I've taken off 10%, so I've got it running smooth without OBS at 74%. So up a 24% increase. You can see on the grid here, oh, hello, we're already at 90. Again, this is the most performance hungry part of a race generally, right at the beginning. But it's not too bad. Look, still in the high numbers here. Back up to 90. So yeah, so without OBS running I had it smooth at 50%, and now I have it smooth at 74. 24% increase. That's nothing to sniff at. It's quite a lot. Massive improvement really visually. I mean, it looked great at 50, let's be honest, but this is just another step up. And this is under perfect conditions, obviously. To be quite clear, if you put this at night time, it tanks. You can't run it at this resolution at night. And maybe rain makes it worse, don't know, but at night time I tried it and yeah, you would yeah, you know, you might want to find a setting that's good for everything and leave it at that, but it means obviously you'll be running it lower than this when you could be running it at this. It's a shame you can't have the game adapt the super sampling really, depending on the conditions. You have to restart, you know, your game every time you change super sampling. But yeah, so I've just knocked 10% off as before, so that's why we're down to 64. But it's not an exact science, but just to demonstrate what limit I've found for me personally. So not 3090 pounds edition, just run the Nvidia performance overclock. Oh hello, sorry mate, I was not paying enough attention. And yeah, you can see this is running pretty sweet. So look, we're at a reprojection ratio of 1.1%. That's nothing really. I mean, some people are happy with a higher ratio, you know, if you're anything up to 10% maybe you're happy with that, fine, you could run this higher resolution. But I'm pretty much finding the limit where I can run at between 0 and 2%. So yeah, tight in a bunch around there, still smooth. So there we go, a 24% increase. You know, I tried it on 100, no good. 80, nah. 74 seemed to be the sweet spot for such a low level of reproduction. I know it's dropping now, down to 1%, and as we go on longer it will get less and less. Okay, so there we go. That's AMS2. Okay, so we're now back on the 2080 Ti in Assetto Corsa. Obviously I'm using Content Manager and Soul with shaders patch, because why wouldn't you? And just a quick look at some settings here, my video settings. Again, this doesn't really matter, that's just for the desktop display. MSAA at 2, anisotropic at 16, same really, maximum world. You can see my shadows and reflection resolution. Post-processing here I'm using Soul Extra with maximum quality. Yeah, so that's basically it. Only other thing to mention really is in shaders patch, I do have grass on here. The grass in this, rather than the grass in Automobilista, but I just have it on low. It seems to be enough, really too big a hit. And yeah, the race we're going to be doing is very similar. Obviously AI very low, just to keep my position roughly. 20 cars again, sort of 13th place, but I'll probably overtake a couple to get for T1, and just all these cars from Racing Studios. So yeah, let's jump on track. Okay, so we're on track in the Assetto Corsa on the Nürburgring again. Pretty much the same sort of settings as before. So let's just get going. As you can see, we're on 90 frames per second here. I think I've got to overtake a couple here just to get amongst the pack for T1. AI is very low, but look, this looks amazing. The lighting, the way the dirt is on the windscreen, it does have a more authentic look really than AMS2. But they both look great. AMS2 does look great, don't get me wrong, I love them both. So look, we're keeping a steady 90 frames round here. Slight spike there, but yeah, very smooth. Overall, there's probably more headroom in this than AMS2. And it looks as good, perhaps not better overall. I mean, this can certainly have the photoreal look at times. So we're keeping a really nice steady frame rate. Obviously this has got better mirrors too than AMS2. Actually show your car in it and even your helmet. Yeah, really good here. Ray projection ratio really low, 1.7. The cars are a bit spread out, but never mind. But we saw bunched up right at the start, we kept a really high frame rate, so that's nothing to worry about. These really are beautiful cars. Yeah, so again, 40% super sampling, but let me reiterate, it runs the same at 50% without OBS. So yeah, this still looks brilliant, and you could run it less, I'm sure it would look great, but yeah, we do want to up it, obviously. Beautiful. Let's just get this lap done, get this lap round here. Check it remains consistent throughout the lap. Let's have a look at this. Truly awesome. Truly awesome. Yeah, beautiful performance. So I'm running this at a way higher resolution than I ever had the Vive Pro on, yet it runs better. It's crazy, it's black magic. Look at that. That is gorgeous. That is Okay, so that's a lap done. And let's jump to the 3090 Ti. 3090 Ti, I wish. 3090. Okay, ladies and gents, here we are back in Assetto Corsa with the 3090, and this is the surprise of the day. I mean, look down in the FPS VR stats, and I'm at 100% super sampling in Steam VR. So I'm at full resolution here, and even just sat here on the grid, it's at 90 frames per second. Nothing else I've thrown at it really can handle 100 frames per second so far. I've tried other things I've not talked about, and this, how's it doing it? Same scenario, 20 car grid, I'm just behind the middle of the pack, middle of the day at Nürburgring. I have changed the cars, we're all the same now. The 488 Evo, just to hopefully we're closer together, because before we were spreading out somewhat, and that was maybe making things easy on the card. So let's get going and see how this goes. I mean, this is just ridiculous how good this looks. Seriously. You know, I'm using Sol Extra so that it looks, the lighting and everything is spot on. Obviously I've kept the AI down low so we can keep amongst everyone. Let's see what we get round here. Look, it's held nearly 90, high 80s, at 100%. Oh. Look at this. I mean, it's going to look good for you anyway on screen, generally, but in this headset, this is quite remarkable. Now, yeah, I haven't tried AC at night or in the rain, etc. Short a tank, just as AMS2 does, but obviously there's a lot more headroom, a lot more you can play with. Look at this. I don't, to be honest, put it at night much. If I do, sometimes I like to go just transition from night to day or day to night, but I generally never do full night races. This is spectacular. So look at the reprojection ratio. 0.6, and bear in mind this is with OBS running. Before I've lowered it 10% to cater for OBS, and I was getting the same performance, the same reprojection ratio. This just highlights the fact that really you could add super sampling. You could go above 100% with the Reverb G2. I mean, you don't need to. In fact, what I would probably do is just increase some in-game settings. Maybe some more resolution to the shadows or reflections, something like that. What's going on? I'm not paying any attention. Waffling on and not watching what I'm doing with my gears. This is something else, seriously. For a while now I've said AMS2 was going to be my sim of choice in VR. Because it's always performed well, still does, but this is quite remarkable. And as I've said before, this isn't an exact science, so your mileage may vary with various track and car combinations, but this is just to get some sort of baseline, some idea of what performance increase you can get on a 3090. And it's quite vast. To be fair, I probably had more space to play with on the 2080 Ti in AC. But just the fact that I can run this at 100% is amazing. And the 24% increase I got in AMS2, it might not sound a lot, but that is quite a big bump. That is quite a big bump. Yeah. So there we have it, a big step up in both games, the 3090 proving that the Reverb G2 can be run at full resolution. That resolution in AC at 90 frames per second, seriously, something to behold. But look, I'm not recommending people go out and buy a 3090. They're ridiculously expensive, and the performance increase over the 3080 is minimal. The returns are probably not worth it on the whole, but for enthusiasts and impatient enthusiasts like me, there's not a lot of choice at the moment. I'm happy I've got it, and I'm already loving it with the G2. Perfect combination, of course. So yeah, I'll cobble together another video at some point where we'll throw ACC and Dirt Rally 2 at it and see how they do. I suspect they won't fare quite as well, but who knows. For now, that'll do it. I'll catch you later. Cheers.